here to talk to you about how we built an ecosystem in an undeveloped country, a small country like Chile, which we call the story of Chile's entrepreneurial revolution by the hand of Startup Chile, which is a government program. Okay? So we are one of the largest and most diverse startup communities in the world, and I would say the largest accelerator in South America right now. So this is the staff. And we were only during 5 years. We started at 2010, and now till 2015, we have had 3,000 entrepreneurs from 70 different countries and helped over 1,100 startups. So how did it all start? How did a little country like Chile build an ecosystem, an entrepreneurial ecosystem? So first of all, let me talk to you about the context in Chile by 2009, which may be similar to Moldova's context right now. So of course we had a lack of global startups. We had an isolated mentality. Chile is surrounded by mountains, deserts, and ocean. So we are really isolated from the rest of the world and the rest of South America. So our mentality has always been very local and not global. Of course, we had low innovation. We had no institution support at all. And we were a country looking for development. By that time, even after the subprime crisis, we were growing like 4 to 5% a year by that time. So we thought that by 2020, we could become a developed country. So that was our main goal. So this guy, Nicolas Shea, he was studying Stanford business, his MBA. He's a Chilean entrepreneur and businessman. And after the 8.8 earthquake that devastated Chile in 2010, he wanted to come back and rebuild the economy, of course, and the country. And while he was at Stanford, he saw like how lots of talent was being rejected. There was very good entrepreneurs from all over the world, but they couldn't stay because they couldn't get the US visas. So he said, where is all this talent going? Why don't we bring all these talented people that cannot stay in the States? Why don't we bring them to Chile? He thought that the incorporated foreigners would be the best way to connect the country to the world. So then he went to the Ministry of Economy with the support of Stanford people, of course, and he presented this idea of starting Startup Chile with foreigners at first, because we needed someone to teach us how to do it. We didn't know how to do it. And the Ministry of Economy has the Chilean Economic Development Agency, which is called Corfo. Corfo has been around for like 80 years, always supporting entrepreneurs. But they always supported like educational projects, restaurants, SMEs, but they didn't support a lot of startups or IT. So they agreed. They agreed to give the grant, so give money to startups from abroad to come to Chile. They agreed to help, as they were the government, they could help with the visa for a year. And of course, help with Chilean IDs for the foreigners so they could get bank accounts, they could get cell phones, they could rent apartments or whatever. I would say that the government's role here is crucial in starting the ecosystem in Chile. For us, as an accelerator, it was easy to get people from the outside because of the support of the government. Of course, the money support and the visa support is the main thing you need to attract entrepreneurs. So this was easy for us to get because the government was so good, and of course we were thinking about development. This was the main reason why the Ministry of Economy said we need to start investing on startups and in technology, because if we want to become a developed country, we need to invest in these areas. Another thing that happened is that Chile is a minor country. We export copper, and it's like the main base of our economy. But we know that maybe someday copper could be replaced for another material. So we had to diversify resources. We cannot only depend on copper, because that way the economy will fall apart if copper is replaced. So we wanted to start investing on technology and startups. So that's why we got the government in. So the government support was divided in 4 main areas: financing startups, of course, support the entrepreneurs, give support to the entrepreneur and VC culture. The government started supporting the VC culture, and of course, legal regulation, which is the startup visa for a year. So the main goal of the government now was to make Chile as the leading hub of Latin America. And the goal of our program, Startup Chile, was to change the Chilean mindset, okay, and help people in Chile become global entrepreneurs. So for Nicolas Shea, the founder, entrepreneurship requires talent regardless of the nationality. So we wanted to bring early stage, global-minded entrepreneurs to Chile to interact with the local community and help with their mindset, with their contacts, and with their knowledge about entrepreneurship. So how are we going to attract these foreigners? How are we going to make them go to the end of the world if they could go to the States, so they could go to Berlin or Israel? We need to give them something no one was offering. So, of course, of living in Chile, which is a wonderful country, we offer them 1 year of working visa and soft landing. We help them with all of the getting these apartments, getting cell phones, getting bank accounts. We give them equity-free money. That means we don't ask for anything back. Even if your company starts doing very well, you don't have to give anything back. A co-working space for zero, just free. And of course, training, mentors, connections, and perks. We just don't give the money and said, okay, good luck. We are with you in the program as an entrepreneur. So I'm not going to go really too many into this. This is how we work. But the important thing is the social impact, because that's what we ask back for the entrepreneurs. We don't do this for free. So what we do is that we make them come to Chile and interact with our community through giving back to our society. So we make them do workshops, congress, everything around entrepreneurship. They go to schools, they teach children how to become entrepreneurs, they go to universities, they do events. They even brought a famous event called Startup Weekend to Chile when no one ever thought that existed. People didn't know what it was. American entrepreneurs brought it to Chile. So till now, we have had like 4,000 activities and 208,000 people attended. So that's what the entrepreneurs give back to our society. So after 5 years, this is what we become. Forbes has recognized us as the best country for business in Latin America, the World Economic Forum, the most innovative country for early stage entrepreneurs, and the Global Entrepreneurship Index, the best country for innovation in Latin America. Well, The Economist did an article for us calling us Silicon Valley, like the Silicon Valley of South America, and Huffington Post, TechCrunch, and BBC, and lots of media. But I think that what you're worried about is the economic impact that we've had in Chile with this program and this idea. So till now, the investment of the government has returned 4 to 5 times. That means taxes, sales, giving jobs to Chilean people. It has been returned to 5 times. So the program has worked. We are a public policy, so we're always on the eye of the government. We have to prove that this is working. So till now, the funds raised globally by our startups are almost 6 times Corfo investment. Corfo is the government's agency. So that's in Chilean pesos, but there you can see that till now, the government only in Startup Chile has invested $30 million. And we've gained 6 times that amount in funds raised. And the sales from Chile, the sales that our startups do from Chile, it's almost $42 million per year. So that is 3.5 times the government's investment. Well, here's the Global Entrepreneurship Index. We are number 16, which is the only country in Latin America to be in the first 20 places. Now 6 countries are replicating our exact model. You can see South Korea, Puerto Rico, Jamaica, Peru, Brazil, and Malaysia. They went to Chile. The Malaysian guys went to Chile and said, okay, teach us how this program works. And they replicated it. So Startup Chile now is divided into 3 different programs depending on the stage of your startup. So it's prototype when you're in a concept stage, validate, and then scale. We give different grants for them. There you can see them. We help them with the process. We get 250 startups per year, so that's a lot of work for us. And well, this is the values of our organization, sorry. And these are the general industries that our startups are representing. Of course, the most represented one in this generation, 16, sorry, is the information and communication technology, of course, education, health, tourism, and financial services. Okay, these are some pictures of the programs of the event we do with the entrepreneurial ecosystem and the community. We do this every month. Well, and to end, I just want to make this metaphor. This is the Atacama Desert, the driest and most arid desert in the world, even more than the Sahara, and it's in Chile in the north. Nothing lives here. There's no plants, no animals, nothing. There's no life. But once a year, something strange happens, and if it's a rainy year in October, this happens to the desert. It's called the Flores Desert. It blossoms. So that's what happened in Chile. We took this, and in 5 years, turned it into this in the entrepreneurial ecosystem. So if we could do it, you guys could do it here. Thank you so much.